The relationship between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is once again dominating public conversation after the couple noticeably skipped the Grammy Awards, triggering widespread disappointment among fans and reigniting speculation about marriage rumors. Taylor Swift's absence from the Grammy ceremony immediately raised eyebrows. For years, the global pop icon has been inseparable from the event, often delivering headline-making moments through her fashion choices, emotional reactions, and historic wins. This year, however, her seat remained empty, and fans quickly noticed that Travis Kelce was also nowhere to be seen. Within minutes of the broadcast, social media platforms were flooded with reactions. Many fans expressed frustration and confusion, questioning why Swift would miss one of the most important nights in the music industry. Others began connecting the dots, suggesting that the decision to skip the Grammys may signal a deeper shift in priorities for the couple. As the night progressed, online search trends related to Taylor Swift wedding and Travis Kelce marriage surged sharply. Entertainment observers noted that the spike was unusual, especially given the timing. Instead of focusing on awards and performances, public attention shifted almost entirely to Swift's personal life and her highly publicized relationship with the NFL star. According to sources quoted by international entertainment media, the couple's absence was not a last-minute decision. Insiders suggest Swift and Kelce deliberately chose to stay out of the spotlight, prioritizing privacy after months of constant media exposure. While no official statement has been released, the lack of clarification has only fueled further speculation. Fan reactions have been divided. Some expressed disappointment, saying the Grammy ceremony felt incomplete without Swift's presence. Others defended her decision, arguing that after an intense touring schedule and relentless public attention, the singer has every right to step back and focus on her personal life. The silence from both Swift and Kelce has become a key element of the narrative. Neither has addressed the Grammy absence on social media, nor have their representatives offered explanations. In the world of celebrity culture, particularly surrounding Taylor Swift, silence is often interpreted as meaningful. Pop culture analysts describe the moment as a noticeable shift in pattern. Swift has long been known for controlling her public narrative, carefully choosing when and how she appears. This time, she has chosen withdrawal over visibility, allowing speculation to grow unchecked. Kelce appears to be aligned with that approach, maintaining a low profile as discussions intensify. Marriage rumors, which have followed the couple for months, have resurfaced with renewed intensity. Some fans believe skipping a high-profile event like the Grammys could indicate the couple is preparing for a major personal milestone. While there is no concrete evidence to support these claims, the timing has been enough to reignite global curiosity. As of now, there is no confirmation that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's Grammy absence is directly connected to wedding plans. Still, the decision has undeniably shifted the public conversation, turning disappointment into anticipation. For fans and observers alike, the story remains unfinished. What began as frustration over a missed awards show has evolved into one of the most closely watched celebrity narratives of the moment. Whether this silence leads to a major announcement or simply reflects a desire for normalcy, the absence of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce from the Grammy spotlight has made more noise than any appearance could have. The discussion continued to escalate the following day, as major entertainment outlets began framing the absence not as a simple scheduling conflict, but as a calculated move. Industry insiders pointed out that skipping the Grammys is almost unheard of for an artist of Swift's stature, especially during a period when her influence across music, culture, and media is at its peak. That context alone pushed the story beyond routine celebrity gossip and into headline territory. Several analysts highlighted that the Grammy Awards are not just about trophies, but about visibility, narrative control, and cultural dominance. By choosing not to attend, Swift effectively broke an unspoken rule of the industry. And when paired with Kelce's simultaneous absence, the move appeared coordinated rather than coincidental. This alignment is what caused fans and observers alike to reframe the situation as a deliberate statement. Behind the scenes, sources suggest that the couple has been increasingly selective about public appearances. After months of intense coverage, ranging from stadium shots during NFL games to viral clips dissecting their every interaction, fatigue is said to be a growing factor. The Grammys, with their global spotlight and unavoidable media frenzy, may have represented a line they were no longer willing to cross at this stage. Public reaction, however, has been far from unified. On one side, loyal fans argued that Swift has already proven everything she needs to prove. They pointed to her record-breaking tours, chart dominance, and cultural impact as reasons she no longer needs award show validation. On the other side, critics claimed the absence felt like a missed opportunity, especially for fans who view Grammy night as a shared ritual between artist and audience. As debates intensified, attention shifted towards Swift's recent creative choices. Observers began revisiting lyrics, interviews, and past statements, searching for clues that might hint at a turning point in her personal life. Lines once interpreted as metaphorical were suddenly read as literal. Songs about legacy, permanence, and long-term commitment resurfaced in discussions, amplifying the marriage narrative even further. Kelce's role in the story also drew increased scrutiny. Known for his outspoken personality on and off the field, his recent silence stood out. No social media posts, no casual interviews, no playful deflection. For an athlete accustomed to media attention, this restraint felt intentional. Commentators suggested that this marked a shift from performative visibility to guarded privacy, reinforcing the idea that the couple is protecting something significant. The entertainment press soon adopted a more cautious tone. Rather than pushing unverified claims, several outlets emphasized the absence of concrete evidence. Still, they acknowledged that the optics were powerful. Two global figures, each at the top of their respective industries, choosing to step away from one of the most watched events of the year inevitably sends a message, whether intentional or not. What makes the situation particularly compelling is the timing. Swift is in a phase of her career where every move is magnified, analyzed, and archived in real time. Any deviation from expectation becomes part of a larger narrative. Missing the Grammys during such a moment doesn't fade quietly. It echoes. And those echoes are what continue to drive engagement, speculation, and debate. From a media perspective, the story has all the elements of sustained interest. Unanswered questions, emotional fan investment, and the promise of a reveal that may or may not come. The lack of resolution keeps audiences hooked, refreshing feeds, watching interviews more closely, and reading between lines that may not exist. As days pass without clarification, the absence itself becomes the headline. Not what happened at the Grammys, but what didn't. Not the performances that took place, but the presence that was missing. In that vacuum, narratives multiply. Some imagine an imminent announcement. Others believe the couple is simply reclaiming autonomy from a relentless spotlight. What remains undeniable is the impact. By not showing up, Swift and Kelce dominated the conversation more effectively than many who did. The disappointment, the curiosity, the theories, all feed into a single outcome: sustained attention. Whether intentional strategy or personal necessity, the result is the same. For now, fans wait, not just for answers, but for direction. Will there be a statement, a surprise appearance, a social media post that reframes everything? Or will the silence continue, forcing the public to eventually move on without closure? Until that moment arrives, the story lives in limbo, caught between reality and speculation, fact and projection. One missed awards show has evolved into a broader conversation about fame, boundaries, and the cost of living life in public view. And perhaps that is the real story beneath the headlines. Not a wedding rumor, not a skipped ceremony, but a reminder that even the most visible figures can choose absence over presence. In an industry built on exposure, stepping away may be the loudest move of all. The narrative deepened as industry insiders began weighing in on what this moment truly represents. Several senior music journalists described Swift's absence as symbolic, noting that artists at her level rarely disengage from legacy-defining platforms unless a fundamental shift is underway. In their view, the Grammys were not avoided accidentally, but intentionally deprioritized. Behind closed doors, the conversation reportedly revolves around sustainability, both personal and professional. After years of relentless output, global touring, and constant visibility, Swift is said to be reassessing how much of her life is meant to exist in public view. The relationship with Kelce, highly visible from the start, may have accelerated that realization rather than caused it. From the sports world, a similar narrative emerged. Analysts covering the NFL noted that Kelce has reached a stage in his career where legacy is already secured. Championships, records, and public recognition have placed him among the elite. Much like Swift, he no longer needs every camera or microphone. This shared position of nothing left to prove has become a key theme in coverage surrounding the couple. As the story evolved, some outlets shifted focus toward the broader cultural implications. Commentators pointed out that celebrity couples in previous decades often leaned into maximal exposure, using award shows and public appearances to reinforce their status. Swift and Kelce appear to be doing the opposite, scaling back at the very height of attention. That contrast alone has kept the story alive far longer than a standard absence ever would. Meanwhile, fan communities continue to analyze every fragment of information. Online forums dissect flight records, studio rumors, and indirect references from third parties. None of it has been substantiated, yet the volume of discussion remains high. What fuels the speculation is not evidence, but consistency. No denial, no confirmation, no redirection. Media psychologists have weighed in, suggesting that the situation taps into a deeper emotional dynamic between Swift and her audience. For years, fans have been accustomed to access. Lyrics that feel confessional, interviews that feel intimate, moments that feel shared. The sudden withdrawal challenges that dynamic, creating a sense of distance that some fans interpret as loss, while others interpret it as growth. Financial analysts have even entered the conversation, observing that public interest has not declined despite the absence. Engagement metrics, search volume, and media coverage remain elevated. From a purely strategic standpoint, the move has not damaged Swift's visibility. If anything, it has reinforced her ability to command attention without participation. Still, the central question persists: why now? Why choose this particular moment to step back? Sources suggest that timing is precisely the point. When attention is at its peak, boundaries matter most. Choosing absence during a quieter period would have gone unnoticed. Choosing absence during the Grammys ensured the message, intentional or not, would be unmistakable. As weeks pass, the lack of resolution has transformed anticipation into expectation. Fans are no longer asking if something will be said, but when. The longer the silence continues, the higher the stakes become for whatever eventually breaks it. A simple clarification may no longer satisfy curiosity that has been allowed to grow unchecked. In the absence of facts, perception has taken over. To some, this is the prelude to a major life announcement. To others, it is simply a recalibration of fame. What both sides agree on is that the couple's decision has altered the rhythm of celebrity coverage, proving that visibility is no longer the only currency of relevance. For now, the story remains suspended. No confirmations, no denials, only patterns and pauses. What began as disappointment over a missed awards show has expanded into a larger conversation about choice, control, and the evolving relationship between public figures and public expectation. Until the silence breaks, the unanswered questions will continue to circulate. And in a media landscape driven by constant updates, that silence, measured, deliberate, and unbroken, has become the loudest statement of all. As the conversation stretches on, what becomes increasingly clear is that this is no longer just a story about an awards show. It has evolved into a broader examination of control, timing, and how modern celebrity operates under constant surveillance. The Grammys were merely the trigger. The real story is the vacuum left behind, and how quickly that empty space filled with speculation, emotion, and expectation. Several veteran publicists have quietly commented that moments like this are rarely accidental. In today's media ecosystem, absence is often as strategic as presence. When an artist as experienced as Swift steps away from a guaranteed spotlight, it signals intention. Whether that intention is personal preservation, long-term planning, or something more intimate, it suggests a conscious choice rather than avoidance. Entertainment editors have also noted a shift in headline framing. Early coverage focused on disappointment and confusion. Days later, the language changed. Words like withdrawal, transition, and new chapter began appearing more frequently. This shift reflects how the narrative itself is maturing, moving from reaction to interpretation. At the same time, the public's emotional response has softened. Initial frustration has gradually given way to acceptance, even curiosity. Fans who once demanded an explanation now seem more willing to wait. The story has become less about entitlement to appearances and more about understanding boundaries. That change alone marks a significant cultural moment. There is also a growing recognition that both figures are navigating unprecedented levels of exposure. Their relationship has crossed industries, blending music fandom with sports fandom in a way rarely seen before. That collision amplified attention but also intensified pressure. Stepping away from an event as massive as the Grammys may be less about retreat and more about balance. Observers from outside the entertainment world have weighed in as well. Cultural critics argue that this moment reflects a broader trend among high-profile individuals who are redefining success. Instead of constant visibility, success is increasingly measured by autonomy, the ability to choose when to engage and when to disappear. That perspective reframes the narrative entirely. Instead of asking why they skipped the Grammys, the question becomes why attendance is still considered mandatory. Why absence is treated as controversy rather than choice. In that sense, this story challenges long-held assumptions about fame and obligation. Still, unresolved curiosity remains. Fans continue to watch closely for any signal that might clarify intent. A single photograph, a brief comment, or an unexpected appearance could instantly reshape the narrative. Until then, every day of silence adds weight to whatever comes next. What keeps the story alive is not outrage, but suspense. The lack of closure has turned the situation into an unfolding drama rather than a completed news cycle. Each passing week extends the arc, allowing interpretation to deepen rather than fade. Some industry insiders predict that when the silence finally breaks, it will do so on carefully chosen terms. Not through leaks or casual remarks, but through a controlled moment that redirects attention with purpose. Others believe there may be no dramatic reveal at all, only a gradual return to visibility without explanation. Either outcome would be consistent with the pattern now emerging. This is not about feeding speculation, but about reshaping expectations. The public may be learning slowly that access is not guaranteed, even to the most celebrated figures of the era. In the meantime, the Grammys themselves have faded into the background of the conversation. Performances, winners, and speeches have been overshadowed by a story that unfolded off stage. That perhaps is the most striking detail of all. A single decision to not attend has generated weeks of analysis, debate, and reflection. It has exposed the intensity of public attachment, the power of silence, and the fragile line between curiosity and intrusion. Until clarity emerges, the story remains open-ended, not defined by facts, but by interpretation, not driven by statements, but by pauses. And in a world where attention is currency, that pause continues to hold remarkable value. For now, the narrative stands unfinished. And as long as questions outnumber answers, the conversation will continue, quietly building, waiting for the moment when silence finally gives way to meaning. As coverage enters its next phase, the narrative has begun to stretch beyond entertainment pages and into broader discussions about modern fame. Media scholars have pointed out that moments like this expose a growing disconnect between audience expectations and celebrity autonomy. For years, the public has been conditioned to believe that major cultural figures owe visibility at milestone events. This situation quietly questions that belief. What stands out is how quickly disappointment transformed into obsession. The absence itself became content. News cycles that typically move on within hours lingered for days, then weeks. Each article referenced the same unanswered question, yet none could provide closure. In a digital ecosystem driven by immediacy, that kind of sustained uncertainty is rare. Sources close to the music industry suggest that Swift's team is acutely aware of this dynamic. Allowing speculation to breathe, without feeding or denying it, keeps the story alive without committing to any single narrative. It is a risky approach, but one that only a figure of her magnitude could afford. Lesser-known artists would be forgotten. She is amplified by silence. The sports media response has mirrored this pattern. Commentators covering Kelce have acknowledged that his personal life has begun to eclipse his athletic achievements in headlines. Some analysts argue that stepping away from a globally televised entertainment event may have been a deliberate effort to recalibrate that balance, to remind the public that not every moment is meant for consumption. Meanwhile, fan discourse continues to evolve. Online spaces that once thrived on real-time updates are now filled with long-form speculation, essays, and emotional reflections. Many fans are not just asking what is happening, but what it means for their relationship with the artist. The sense of parasocial closeness, long a hallmark of Swift's fandom, is being quietly renegotiated. This shift has also affected how media outlets approach the story. Early headlines leaned heavily on rumor-driven language. More recent coverage has become noticeably cautious, emphasizing uncertainty and avoiding definitive claims. Editors appear aware that overstatement could backfire if the eventual truth turns out to be far more ordinary than imagined. Yet ordinary explanations struggle to satisfy an audience conditioned to expect symbolism. In popular culture, especially at this level, every decision is treated as narrative. Absence becomes a plot point. Silence becomes foreshadowing. Even restraint is interpreted as intention. Some cultural critics argue that this moment may mark a turning point in how celebrity milestones are perceived. Skipping an awards show once would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Today, it is controversial precisely because it challenges a ritual that many assumed was immutable. At the same time, commercial indicators show no sign of decline. Streaming numbers remain stable. Merchandise sales continue. Public interest has not waned, it has shifted. Attention has moved from performance to presence, from output to intent. That transition itself is newsworthy. As weeks turn into months, the risk of overinterpretation grows. Not every absence leads to an announcement. Not every silence precedes a reveal. Some stories simply dissolve when the world's attention moves elsewhere. Yet this one persists, sustained by the sheer scale of investment surrounding it. Industry veterans caution that expectation inflation can be dangerous. When anticipation is allowed to build unchecked, any eventual outcome risks disappointment simply for being human. A private choice can never fully satisfy a global audience hungry for meaning. Still, the waiting continues. Each new public appearance elsewhere, each unrelated interview, is scanned for subtext. The absence from one night has rewritten the context of many others. That ripple effect underscores just how powerful a single decision can be at this level of fame. In the end, the story may resolve quietly without spectacle, or it may culminate in a moment that reframes everything retroactively. Until then, the narrative remains suspended, defined not by what has been said, but by what has been withheld. And in an era where constant disclosure is the norm, that restraint has become the most compelling headline of all.